It's the show of the week.
Welcome back to Show of the Week, the weekly segment where we talk musical theater and where I wear flannel. This week, I wanted to talk about A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder. It's always sad when a show announces it's closing, and don't worry, there's still plenty of time to see Gentleman's Guide. It's going to be open until like January 17th. It's got a hilarious book that is so well acted by Bryce Pinkham and Jefferson Mays and the rest of the company. The songs are kind of hit and miss for me. Some of them are great and hilarious. Some of them get a little too verbose for their own good, I think. But there's one thing that I wanted to talk about today. So when I'm getting ready to make a show of the week, I listened to the musical throughout last week and then take little notes on my phone. And one of the things I wrote down about A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, I called it the most original musical on Broadway right now. It turns out that's a lie. And I think it's a lie I've been implying ever since the Tony Awards 2 years ago, that A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder is an original musical. Now, this is where things get a little confusing, so stick with me for a second. The musical is based on a book, Israel Rank, The Autobiography of a Criminal, and a movie, Kind Hearts and Cornets. And here it's the movie that counts. They have the same shtick of one actor playing all the parts of the royal family members that get murdered. A shtick which Gentleman's Guide copies 100%. And don't get me wrong, I have no problem with that. We live in a world of non-originality, I've talked about this before, but I had called this an original musical, and that's where the problem is, right? What makes an original musical? Because I'm an advocate for this. I am trying to convince people on the internet that we need more original musicals. I say it all the time, but what makes a musical original if I was all ready to call this show an original musical? I mean, in a bunch of ways it is an original musical. It's got new music, it's got new lyrics, it's never been put on stage quite like this before, and that's 100% original. On the other hand, it takes its plot straight from a book and one of its major production decisions straight from an old British movie. So where is the line between original musical and non-original musical? Take Evita, based on the actual true real life of Eva Perón. That's a thing that existed before the musical happened, but I think Evita is a pretty original musical, especially for Andrew Lloyd Webber, where we are recasting these ideas all into one brand new piece of art. On the other hand, take the hypothetical, not yet created, upcoming, that I've already ranted about, SpongeBob movie, that will probably have a 100% brand new plot. They're not going to take some old Nickelodeon episode that already exists and put it on stage, and it's going to have new songs and a whole new book. But to me, that doesn't ring as an original musical. And the more I talk about this, the more I'm afraid that I'm using the term original musical just to describe shows I like, and the phrase unoriginal musical to describe shows I'm not pleased with. And I don't want to be the case, and so this is my question to you. For you, what draws the line between original, new piece of work and unoriginal, rehashing, already existent artistic concept? Or something like that. See? Words are hard, and we try to categorize things, and it's not so cut and dry, and I don't know. This has been on my mind, and now it's on your mind. And maybe as you think about it, you'll listen to A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, because it's a great musical, and I didn't talk about it enough, but hey, whatever, we're listening to it this week, and you're listening to it this week, because that's what we do on the internet, where I talk to you and then we listen to things. Now I'm rambling. I'll see you next week. Bye! But it is a really funny show. I think there's another thesis, a whole other video to be made about our desensitization to violence as it happens in musical theater. Everyone complains about violence on television and violence in movies. Not everyone, but you know, that happens a lot. But very rarely do people complain about violence on stage. And Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder takes it in a bright light, but there are, you know, some really more serious musicals like Les Mis that are about war and all sorts of really gruesome death, and no one's ever like, oh, you can't do that on stage. And I wonder if there's something about just a separation of that, you know, it's a real person and they can't kill them on stage because then they need to kill them every night, and you know, that would get expensive, or they've already done that with Pippin. And now I'm rambling again. It's a rambly day. Ramblin'. We're ramblin' in the end slate. Ramblin' in the end slate. I only know one melody for these things.